Hello and welcome to Funded Futures. My name is Emily McFarlane. I'm your host, and today I am joined by Indianna Roehrich. She is the founder of Tomorrow Today Beauty. Welcome to the podcast.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks so much for coming. You're here, there, and everywhere at the moment. What brings you to Melbourne?
I think me and the cold in New York just don't mix well. I was like, yeah, we need to go somewhere warm. Nice to come back and see friends and family.
No word of a lie. First time I went to New York was for Christmas, and I remember walking down the street and it had been 3 days of freezing cold, and I just got hit in the face with this big gust of cold wind and I burst into tears. I don't know how people live there.
Yeah, I mean, I was there right up until the 12th of December and it was getting pretty chilly. I know it's like -10 there today. So yeah, it is a little bit chilly over there.
Wow. So what took you to New York originally?
I think this new brand and business that I'm building, Tomorrow Today Beauty, there's just so many opportunities in that city, and it was almost like my gut was telling me to go to New York. And whilst I've been there multiple times before as a tourist and been in and out of that, I just had this feeling of like the city was kind of calling me in a way. And I kind of say that New York, you don't choose New York. New York chooses you. And for me, every time, like this time being there, it was just rewarding me. The harder I worked, the more opportunities were coming. And I just felt like myself, completely myself there.
Love it. So Tomorrow Today Beauty, when did you start the product? I mean, it's blue light protecting skincare, right? How
Correct.
did you even realize that that was a problem?
So I had a social media agency called Simply Social for 10 years, and I had countless nights working in front of a screen, especially during those COVID days when we picked up quite a few international clients. And it was like one night at like 2 a.m. or something, and it was just me, no makeup, and the blue light from the screen. And I thought, surely this is bad for my skin. At this point, I was already wearing blue light glasses. So I thought, you know, if we wear blue light glasses, what about for our skin? So I went on like a deep dive research at like 2 a.m. and I tried to find a product myself. I was like, I need something because I love what I do, but I don't want to be, you know, voluntarily aging my skin, causing premature aging, redness, hyperpigmentation, acne in my skin, which is what blue light does. So it's a light source called HEV light, which stands for high energy visible light. And as soon as I found out that goes to your third layer of your skin, I was like, we need something to protect and repair our skin from this. So that's when the initial idea for the brand was born. And like, I have so many business ideas every single day, and I've really got to make sure it sticks with me because it's something that you have to do 7 days a week. And whether you like it or not, or the challenges that present itself to you daily, you need to be able to quickly solve them. And I thought, you know what, this brand, it's something new. I was very like naive to the whole beauty industry, which worked really well because I asked every single question under the sun.
Yeah. So obviously, I mean, not obviously, it probably is obvious to people who are watching this and not people who are listening to this, but you used to model. So you've been around a lot of skincare and a lot of beauty for a long time. And you see trends come and go and a lot of misinformation that's out there. How do you show the efficacy of your brand and show that it actually works to consumers?
Yeah, I mean, I've been in the whole fashion beauty landscape since I was 14. So I've been a lot behind the scenes of things and seeing how things come together. And like even now, like the photographer I used to do the campaign shoot was one of my first photographers that I worked with when I was 15.
Amazing.
That's almost 15 years ago. And now it's like a full circle moment. And to me, like it was really important when building this brand that the ingredients that went into there were like really ethically sourced, potent, biotech ingredients and things that I would want to be putting on my skin.
For sure. So I guess that's kind of the start of a product like this, is that you say, I'm happy to use this myself and this is something I would use every day. Other people should use it too. How did you go about testing the product in the beginning when you started developing it?
So here's a funny story. So when I first started Simply Social Management, my first ever client was my parents' flower business, which they grow Australian native flowers here in Melbourne, Australia. And it's funny, when I was like doing the research into what ingredients offer that protection and repair element of the blue light, one of them is Australian native flowers.
Okay.
Yes.
Wow. Which ones in particular?
So, well, we use Buddleia flower in Tech Protect Serum, and we use Madagascar flower in Hydration Hero Balm. So every product that's developed moving forward will have a flower in it. So again, it like goes back to my gut. I was like, this is something I have to do. Mm-hmm. Like it was kind of like it was supposed to be.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And how did you discover that those ingredients were effective in protecting skin from the blue light?
So we work with leading chemists in Australia and also South Korea. So they basically go on a deep dive research and then present the ones back that will work well.
Okay, that's so interesting. So South Korea is obviously super famous for their beauty and skincare.
Yes.
So is that kind of, it was a light bulb moment. You're like, obviously I'm going to South Korea to get this developed in the first place?
Yes, I went there in January last year and my mind was just completely blown.
Oh,
like completely
I'm desperate to
blown.
go.
Oh, it's amazing. It's so good. And just the people there, everyone's so lovely and they just get things right.
Oh, amazing.
Yeah.
And so where did you go when you were coming up with the branding for, you know, the packaging, how you're going to position the brand in a market? Obviously, the beauty market is super saturated.
Yep.
How do you go about standing out?
It was a process. Everything I do, I want to do it really, really well. I'd never put something out if it wasn't done really well. And I wanted something that was unique, something that wasn't on the shelves, and the colour alone, when it is on retail shelves, people would want to like go up and pick it up because it's so unique and so different. And like the packaging was just so integral to the brand because for me, it's like your first point of contact with a customer who will potentially buy your product. So you want to make it like a nice, luxurious experience. This brand had like so many different names before it was Tomorrow Today Beauty. It had so many different iterations before it was. I remember sitting at the kitchen table and I just brought all the serums down that were in my cabinet and I just pulled apart every single bottle and I was like, okay, I hate that this opens like this. I hate the inside that has plastic. So many different elements. I wanted a refillable option because people are, environmentally conscious these days and I feel like you need to apply to that market as well or at least have that train of thought in the back of your mind too. So, yeah, it was but I love the process of it and it brings me so much happiness.
Oh, this for me is my worst nightmare. Every time I talk to business founders, I think, are you insane? This is so much work. But obviously you have to be so passionate about it because it takes a long time. How long did it take for you from inception of the idea to actually having a product that was available for people to purchase?
Yeah, I mean, it's crazy that there's 2 physical products here right now. And it was a lot. Like I was running a whole nother business while starting another one. And I was also renovating a house at the same time.
Oh my goodness.
Which I do not recommend. I got shingles in the interim.
Oh, what a treat. I've had shingles before. It's fun, isn't it?
Don't recommend it. So yeah, there was a lot going on. But I don't know. I'm someone who works better under pressure and I'm better when I'm busy.
Yeah, right.
You know?
It's so intense and I think obviously once you've got your product, you've tested it, you know that it works. How do you then get that in front of potential stockists?
Yeah, I mean, that's a journey as well. We have retailers reaching out to us every single week at the moment.
Great.
But yeah, my eyes are focused on a pretty big goal.
Okay.
And that's part of the reason why I'm based out of the US at the moment is to get closer to that goal and get closer to my customer and understand how they react. So when I've been in New York, I've been out at so many different events and had Tech Protect Serum and Hydration Hero Balm available for people to try and do that whole test and learn journey. And the first thing that people say to me is, wow, why has no one thought of this sooner?
Yes.
I want this in my skincare routine right now because a lot of them over there are working in front of a screen not just your 9 to 5. They're working like around the clock. I remember my first apartment in New York, I sat there and right opposite me was another apartment and they'd be on their laptop and I would try and stay on my laptop until they were done. It sounds ridiculous, but I was like, you know that saying, Em, I don't know if you've heard it, if you want to run fast, you've got to run with people that are faster than you.
Ooh,
I was
love
like,
that.
this is how it's done here. This is how we've got to go.
Yeah.
And, you know, New York isn't a rehearsal. This is time. Like, this is the time to be going all in. So, like, there's so many different opportunities over there to test and learn more about your product and how consumers digest what your product does.
It's really interesting to see that you've gone straight to the US versus testing in the Australian market. A lot of people kind of use Australia as a bit of a warm-up to see how it will go before going out to, you know, the US, Europe, UK. Why did you think that somewhere like the States would be a better testing market versus somewhere as small as Australia?
Australia is so small.
Yeah. That's it,
It really
right?
is. And it takes a while for people to get things here. And I don't have time for that. Like, I go over there and people are like, yes, great, let's go. You know, they're moving faster there. They're responding to emails within 2 minutes there. They're following up with you within 2 hours there. It's just, it's moving faster. It's a pace that I like to work at.
Yeah.
And this brand is growing as well. So
That's actually really interesting, and it's sinking into me now because there are so many founders that I work with here in Australia, and it is such a slow process, and there are a lot of hurdles you have to jump over to actually get in front of consumers. Have you found that, you know, getting approval for a skincare product is easier over in the States versus here, or have there been any key differences that make it an easier market to potentially tap into in the States versus Australia?
I'd say it's harder over there as well because all of Tomorrow's Day Beauty products are made to EU and UK standards, which have the highest approval.
Great.
So getting a product into the US when it's got those standards is fine because you're already made to the highest standard.
Yeah, right.
And they're made in Australia and South Korea. So I guess over there, I know it's like getting those products, I don't know, it's like the harder you work, the more the city rewards you over there, and you have to do what you say you're going to do. So for me, getting my first retailer over there was huge, and it was such a incredible moment because it was probably, I've been in the States for maybe less than 2 months. And
That's nothing.
I was there for 2 months and it hit me that I was like, this is really hard. It's hard. It's an expensive city. Groceries are expensive. Coffee is $14.
Excuse me?
$14 Australian.
Oh my gosh.
And we need coffee to function every day.
We do.
So it's an expensive city. The people there are incredibly kind. They are so kind. And I went there with like an incredible, like positive energy. So I attracted the right people early on. But it's really hard there.
Yeah, no doubt.
Getting my first retailer was, I remember the day so clearly. I had a call from a client from Simply Social that I'd had for almost 8 or 9 years. And they said, Indy, look, we no longer need you. We're going to bring our services in-house. And I was thinking, what am I going to do?
Yeah, how are you going to afford your $14 coffee?
Yeah, how, like, and I live quite frugally anyway. Like, I'm really conscious with money and where every dollar goes. And I was like, oh, gosh. I'm like, okay, pull yourself up and, like, let's just keep going. Keep going. I had an event to go to that night. And it was at Happier Grocery in Soho, which is known as New York's version of Erewhon. Beautiful grocery store. They've got an incredible beauty department. And maybe 2 weeks earlier, I had been in store and I was on the floor there and I was walking around. I went up to one of the retail assistants and I said, is there a beauty buyer that I could please speak to? And she's like, I am one of the beauty buyers here. And I quickly did a quick elevator pitch. I already have my products with me. If you know me, like I will always have Tech Protect and Hydration Hair Balm with me. I will always have samples with me. So I did a bit of an elevator pitch to her and she's like, yep, sounds great. Send me an email. Didn't hear anything. But when I came home from an event that night, I kid you not, Em, I walked in the door and I sat down and checked my emails and there's this email sitting there. It's like, hi, Andy, absolutely love Tomorrow Today Beauty. What do we have to do to get an account activated? And I just cried. I just bawled my eyes out. And I was like, you know what? Everything's going to be okay.
Yeah.
Everything is going to be okay and you just have to keep going because it's like this.
Yeah.
Every day there. It's just
an emotional roller coaster.
It's an emotional roller coaster and you just become so clear and so focused. So I know I did that I just blocked out everything else around me and was just so focused on the goal.
That's incredible. I'm a big believer in the universe and
same.
So the energy you put out is the energy you get back. Everything happens for a reason. Things happen for you, not to you.
Yeah.
All of that. I think that that's such a showcase of it, but obviously you've worked really hard to get where you are, and your experience, particularly with the modeling industry, with Simply Social Management, has probably built you into the perfect founder for a skincare brand in that essence, because you know what it takes to market it, you know what visually is going to resonate with an audience. How do you go about marketing the product now? What platforms are you on? Do you do a lot of your own content capture? How does that work?
Yeah, I pretty much document every little moment, every little journey. Like if I'm packing products in my apartment, which is what I do in New York, I sit there and I pack out orders from my apartment. It's full startup mode.
Love it.
Yeah, I love using Instagram is really great. My personal platform, Tomorrow Today Beauty, YouTube as well. So I put little vlogs on YouTube of what I'm doing in New York City. LinkedIn is a powerful player as well when it comes to promoting your business to, you know, potential investors or just genuine updates of how the business is performing. I think, as we know, you know, social media is such a key player in letting your consumers know more about your brand.
The scary thing for me at the moment is watching what's playing out in the States. Obviously, a lot of people's livelihood depends on social media, in particular TikTok. Do you use TikTok to market your products, and has that affected the way that you think about how you market your business in the future?
I mean, I've always been someone who doesn't put every single egg in one basket.
Yeah, that's
so. And I say that to, you know, any clients we've had in the past with Simply Social is to be diverse across a couple of platforms because you never know when they go.
Yeah.
And that's why your email database is so important as well, like capturing that data too. Yeah, we use TikTok. It's something we probably haven't quite yet nailed, but you know, you got to pick and choose where you want to put your time and energy.
I've always have said that I'm too old for TikTok at the ripe old age of 34.
No way.
I don't have it. But then also I know my personality, and I'd sit there and I'd scroll and scroll and scroll. So it's just not good for me. So it's a blessing. You know, there was that meme going around and it was everybody joking about TikTok going, who's never had it. But I mean, it was off air for such a short space of time. Obviously, you're in the thick of it in the States when you're over there. Do you find that a bit confronting when, you know, trying to live your life whilst also trying to grow a business?
I mean, everyone there is just on their own mission. Everyone there is like really determined to be successful and they're hungry for it.
Yeah.
So, yeah, you have to be aware of what's going on, but you can't lose focus of the goal.
I think that's kind of great to surround yourself with people who are hungry for their goals.
Yeah.
Because it pushes you to work harder.
Oh, yeah. Like I had days there where I'm like, I'm exhausted. Because I run in, dump my stuff, get more product, leave.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, okay, just keep going. This is 7 days a week. And then you get home and it might be like 9:30, 10 o'clock and you get a message from someone, hey, India, I'm at this event right now. There's this other beauty founder that I really want you to meet. Can you get down here? And you're like,
you're kidding.
Okay. I'm like, let's go. Because as I said, it's not a rehearsal. This is the time. It's so expensive to live there every single day. I worked for 10 years to put myself in a position to afford to live there.
Yeah.
So it's like you got to go.
Actually, that was leading to my next question. So how have you been able to afford to build a brand? Because that is something that is a barrier to a lot of people, is the funding.
Yeah. So I am 100% self-funded with Tomorrow Today Beauty.
Wow.
And I used, the funds from Simply Social to build this brand, and I'm a huge risk taker.
Yeah.
Like I'm like, cool, Simply Social was very successful for the last 10 years and I grew that business to the max that it could be. And, had so many great success stories and so many highs and so many lows with it. And I just figured it was like time to do something new.
And what do you think you learned from that, the good or the bad, that you've taken into growing a new business?
I would say as a second-time founder now, my yeses are yeses and my noes are noes very quickly.
Okay.
Like they're quiet. Whereas I used to ponder on things and be like, oh, you know what, let me think about it and I'll get back to you. And it's like, no, yep, we're riding with this. No, we're not going with this.
Right.
Time is money at the end of the day. And you've got to keep things moving. Like what's going to move the needle?
Yeah.
Like that's what I look at now when these different opportunities are presented. I'm like, does this move the needle? Yes or no?
Right. And in terms of funding to scale, is that something that you'd consider in the future? Do you want to be getting funding from, VCs or bank loans? What do you see happening in that space for you?
It's interesting. Like I have people every week at the moment reaching out being like, I'd love to invest in your business. Let me know if you ever go down that share path. And as we continue to grow and bring out more products, yes, it is something that I will be considering because you need funding.
Yeah,
I can't be eating rice forever.
100%.
Like that's the reality of it.
So where do you see the brand growing to at this stage? How many more SKUs do you want to bring on board? Is it, you've got a serum, you've got a balm. Where do you go from here?
There's a couple of more products in the pipeline for this year and then going into 2026 as well. So, yeah.
It's really exciting. And in terms of ambassadors and choosing people who are going to represent your brand, how do you go about that?
I mean, it's hard. Like we've done it before with the agency. Like we've engaged influencers and brand ambassadors for other businesses. And where I think it works well is when it's true to the person's current routine or their current work schedule. So, people who are already working in front of a screen, like that's when it's a great alignment for me. But I only ever paid like one person to post.
Okay.
And it wasn't the right alignment at all.
What happened?
And now I just will gift organically. And if people like the product, then they will post about it and share their thoughts about it. But I'm never pressuring people to post.
Yeah.
If they like it and it's true to them, I think that's the best kind of way to go because, $1 is $1 at the end of the day and you need to see ROI.
Absolutely. From that, where do you find that you have grown and learnt from your mistakes? Can you pinpoint a time in the business, whether it be Tomorrow Today or Simply Social, where you had a big mess up and you said, I can't be doing this again. I need to learn and grow?
Oh, gosh, I make mistakes every day, but I'm the first person to be like, okay, I messed up. How do we fix it? I feel like that's the beauty of entrepreneurship is you have to love solving problems.
Right.
And you just get quicker at solving them. And mistakes are great because you learn from them and you can just find out quicker ways or better solutions for next time. And it could be things on shipping or the time that we decided to freight things at peak shipping time during Christmas. And you're paying 3 times the price and that adds to your margins. So there's so many different factors that you're trying to work to reduce costs every single day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's fascinating. I didn't really realize that there were different shipping costs at different times of the year, but obviously that makes sense.
Yeah.
And do you find that it's difficult to market the product? Do you do paid advertising as well for the products, as in like on meta ads, those kinds of things?
Not yet.
Not yet.
But it's something that I definitely want to look into this year.
Yeah, for sure. And how do you go about building a community? Because that's so important for a lot of early stage businesses, is growing that community and getting people on board who believe in the brand. What's been your strategy behind that?
Totally. This is like a question that always kind of comes up with a lot of businesses, is they want to go, I want to reach 100,000 people, 200,000 people. But you got to flip it on its head and go, hey, if you've got 10 people interested in your product, nurture those 10 people. Really look after those 10 people. And then, it'll grow organically from there. I'm a huge believer in that.
I think that's a really great point. So a lot of the time people will go through something like equity crowdfunding and they'll get a whole new database of shareholders who also become ambassadors in the product. And a lot of the time founders get so busy growing their brand and growing their business that they forget about those initial people who are there to help them grow the business, and they don't nurture them. And then these people who helped them say, you've given up on me, I'm going to give up on the brand. And it's so disappointing that you can't nurture your community. I think that's a really good message, is that you keep in mind the people who are there in the very beginning and who supported you and the business and who love it, and they're organically going to tell a friend. They're going to love it and use it. And I mean, everything I buy is something that a friend of mine has.
Oh, when my friends buy my product, I'm like, oh my God, like I could have just given it to you. But also I'm like, thank you so much for like supporting me in that journey. And one of my best friends at the moment, she was the first person to buy Hydration Hero Balm. Oh. And I think because she had seen me testing it and she'd been trying it along the journey as well. And she's the one who said to me, there's this ingredient that I'm using called squalane in it. And that's why we put it in Hydration Hero Balm, because it's super, super hydrating for your skin. And yeah, she was the first person to buy the balm. So it's so cool when that happens. And she'll message me like almost once a week. Like she sent me a message this morning and she's traveling around Australia and she's like, this balm just keeps on saving my skin. I heard a story the other day. Someone was in like skiing overseas and they stacked it down the mountain. And she called me yesterday and she's like, the balm repaired my skin within 3 days. It was so grazed and now it's like back to normal. I couldn't find anything else that was so hydrating for my skin.
I think that's what keeps you going as a founder, is hearing the stories.
Totally. Because your days are like, every day is like not easy.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So are there times when you feel as though as a founder it's quite isolating and that no one's checking in on you and no one's there to support you? Or do you feel like you have a really good network around you of women supporting you?
I mean, that's really the beauty of New York as well, is like a lot of people have come there alone. So when you're going to work from like co-working spaces and stuff, you don't really feel a sense of loneliness. You feel like a sense of like togetherness almost. You're working towards like a goal.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, but I guess like you do have those nights where it is quite lonely and quite isolating because you just got to get a job done.
Yeah. What advice would you give to other founders who are finding the process of starting a business and building it and growing it quite isolating?
Just getting into a good rhythm. Like make sure you still take time out to go work out, eat really healthy. It's all back to the simple, basic things, but also look at the people who you surround yourself with.
Yeah.
As well. And, a lot of my close friends are in completely different industries. And it's great. It's refreshing because it pulls you out of like the nitty gritty that you're dealing with every single day and kind of brings you back to reality as well.
For sure.
Yeah.
I think that's such a great point, and it's something you don't see a lot in Australia, I think, is a lot of women promoting
other women.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've never had so many women support me in business than I have in New York.
That's fascinating.
You, as I said, you chat to other beauty founders there and it's just like, yeah, cool, I'm going through production supply issues too. Who are you using? Like, let's like work together on this, or who do you use to ship? Like, who's your 3PL? Like, and it's just like I think it's because you're there. I honestly think it's because you're there, you're running around, you're working hard. And I mean, at the start for me, it was like, I feel like, oh God, how long is she going to last? You know, not like that, but it's like, I had no shame. I was running around handing out samples. I still do it. I will always do it because I have everything to lose and everything to gain.
Absolutely. So with the 2 products that you've got now, can you run me through what's in them, the difference between them, what they do, all of those things? I want to hear all about it.
Yeah, of course. So this one is the first one called Tech Protect Serum.
The packaging is just heaven. I love
Isn't it amazing?
It's so beautiful.
See, like you'd want to just pick this up
100%.
and you just want to put it on your skin. Tech Protect Serum works to protect and repair your skin. It also has so many nourishing ingredients in there like ginseng, lactic acid, which are going to nourish and deeply hydrate your skin. A great tip is to put this on before you put your vitamin C on because it has lactic acid in there, so it allows your other products to go deeper into your skin. The other one is Hydration Hero Balm, and you'll see when you get this, it opens up like a flower because we use flowers.
That is so
Isn't it
cool?
cool? And there's like all coding in here because I like to say skincare for screen time.
Oh my gosh.
Next back to tech.
That.
And this balm is just like the best thing ever, Hydration Hero Balm.
Incredible.
So I kind of say it's like Botox in a bottle. I've never done Botox, but
Your skin is absolutely incredible.
thank you. I try to just use this, and like just tinted sunscreen. So this, like you just glide it on anywhere there's fine lines, wrinkles, and it instantly puffs them out.
Wow.
Yeah, it's like it's incredible.
So which one do you prefer out of the 2?
Oh, both of them. I can't go a day without both of them. I just ran out of my balm like this morning, and I was like, put my fingers in there, like, oh my God, I need like every last minute of it. Yeah.
Oh, I love it.
I'm on like my 5th bottle of this. So
Why do you think that this hasn't been recognized and identified as a problem area for skin?
Yeah.
And, you know, are there competitors in the marketplace who are doing anything similar to what you're doing?
No. Like
That's wild.
Yeah, I know. So that's why I'm like really running with it. So, and I'm sure there will be, and like I welcome them.
Yeah, absolutely.
Let's go.
It's that first to market advantage.
Yeah, it's first to market, but there's a lot of stress that comes with that too because you need to be the leader. Like I want to be the leader globally in blue light skincare. When people think of blue light skincare, I want them to think of Tomorrow Today Beauty.
I love that. Like, as it's such an ambitious goal, but you've got that first to market advantage. What have been your key milestones and traction to date with the brand?
In any press that the brand gets in and any beauty editor that gets behind the brand and supports it, that's huge for me. Huge. And even like on the weekend I was at the tennis and I had about 5 women come up to me and say, Indy, I've got Hydration Hero Balm on right now. And I was like, this is the thing, find joy in the journey as well. Like these little moments are like, this is what it's about. You know, like you're helping other people feel confident.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, and I was like, oh, cool. Like it's because your head is like so down, like in the day to day, and then you look up and you're like, oh, okay, it is working. You know?
So what's the brand mission for you? What do you want to achieve and see the brand do in terms of creating a difference?
I mean, it's really just the start. I want to have like people feel confident when they go to work every day that they've got something on their skin to protect and repair their skin from blue light. And we spend more time in front of our screen than we do in the sun.
Yeah, right.
The sun is like UVA, UVB, but blue light, as I said, is HEV light.
I know you're scaring me because I do spend so much time in front of my computer, in front of my phone.
Yeah, it's something to think about.
Yeah.
It's really something to think about. And it's just an incremental step in your skincare routine.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, in terms of your target addressable market, it's pretty massive. You see not just people who are going to work every day, everybody uses a phone at the end of the day. So what's your marketing strategy to get in front of all those different people?
My main thing at the moment is proof in market. So going out to these different events and activations and really activating the product in front of people. And it's pretty cool when people are like, oh, can I get you on here, or can I find you in this retailer? And I'm like, not yet. One day.
You sell direct from the website, right?
Yeah, direct to consumer at the moment, and at Happier Grocery in Soho.
Okay, awesome.
Yeah.
And in terms of the stockists who'd reached out to you, you've said no. What's the reason behind that? Why are you being so selective at this moment? Is it a brand protection scheme?
My eyes are so focused on the big retailers at the moment. So, and that's where I want to go with it. So I always set it out to be a brand that would be in there. And I'm not going to stop till I get into it. And this is a risk as well. You're saying no to money.
Yeah. That's the scary part as well. And in terms of, getting the money to fund the brand and going forward, does that scare you in terms of how much you would need to really scale and grow? And have you had many people approach you who are giving you offers that, are undesirable and you feel are not what you need at this stage?
Look, it's not how much money people give you. It's who you take the money from.
Absolutely. And that's a scary prospect. And as a female founder, do you find that it's a bit trickier to try to get that funding?
Oh, God, yeah. Like if I was a man, I'd get it tomorrow. But, and you just trust. It's about trust as well, you know what I mean? There are definitely opportunities to have backers there. And when I'm ready for it, we'll go down that path. But at the moment, it's great how it is.
Yeah, for sure. So for anybody looking to start their own business, what advice would you give them?
Really make sure you love it. Really make sure you believe in it and that you're prepared to work on it every single day, whether you like it or not, whether you have a good day or a bad day. Yeah, you've got to love it. And make sure it's true to you as well. Like Tomorrow Today Beauty is so true to me, and my background in social media and that tech space for 10 years, like this brand really makes sense for me.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for coming on today. I can't wait to see how the grand? I've said this twice now.
The brand.
Brand growth. And I'm just combining all the words, but I can't wait to see how much it grows for you. It's been really inspirational to see your journey as a founder from simply social management all the way to here now building your own skincare brand. It's absolutely massive. So congratulations. And where can everybody find the product?
At tomorrowtodaybeauty.com.
Amazing. Thanks so much, Indy. Appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.